Medieval Europe is often remembered for its castles, its knights, and its grand halls of stone. But beneath the armor and the banners, there was another reality, one rarely shown, and even more rarely imagined. A reality you would not see first, but smell. Imagine waking up in a medieval city in the year 1320. The air is thick, heavy, almost physical. It carries the scent of animals, sweat, mud, and something far worse. Narrow streets pressed tightly between crowded houses. The air barely moves. Waste and refuse accumulate in every corner. A constant mixture of human filth and organic decay lingers without relief. The smell was not an accident. It was not temporary. It was the atmosphere of daily life. And that atmosphere began with the body itself. Bathing was rare, not simply because water was difficult to obtain, though it was, but because many believed washing the body could invite disease. Medical theory at the time warned that hot water opened the pores, and open pores allowed illness to enter. Health was believed to depend on balancing invisible bodily humors, not on cleanliness. Even religious influence reinforced suspicion toward frequent bathing. Clean skin was not seen as protection. It was seen as vulnerability. And so bodies carried weeks, sometimes months, of accumulated sweat and dirt. But the body was only the beginning. Clothing in medieval Europe was not changed daily. For most people, there was only one set. The same garments worn to work, to eat, to sleep, and to live. Fabric absorbed oil and sweat, fibers thickened with grime. The texture grew stiff, odors settled deep into the cloth. Over time, garments became a second skin, heavy, stained, and alive with invisible life. And within those fibers, something else thrived. Lice were not an exception. They were expected. Fine-toothed combs existed not for beauty, but for control. Fleas lived within clothing, bedding, and straw-covered floors. The itching was constant. Scratching was simply part of being alive. But these parasites were not merely an irritation, they were carriers. And outside the home, the environment offered no relief. Sewage ran openly through the streets. Organic waste accumulated in layers. Animals roamed freely between houses and market stalls. Rats, large and unafraid, moved through the city as if they belonged. Because they did. Medieval streets were not cleaned, they were endured. In many towns, human waste was collected in chamber pots and thrown from windows into the narrow streets below, sometimes preceded by a shouted warning. The city functioned as its own ecosystem, one where waste, animals, and people lived without separation. And perhaps the most unsettling truth of all, no one questioned it. This was not chaos to them. It was normal life. Generations were born into this reality. They adapted to the smell, to the itching, to the filth. But while Europe tolerated this silent coexistence with decay, something else was already in motion. Something carried in fur and hidden in cloth. Something that would soon expose how fragile that world truly was. Medieval Europe did not collapse because it was weak. It collapsed because it did not understand the danger it lived with every day. And that danger was already on its way. The dark reality, history without illusion.